guys, this is Golden Reviewer. Welcome back. This is an iPad Pro 12.9. It's the 2021 model with M1 SoC. So this M1 iPad Pro, together with the new iPhone 13 Pro series, are the only devices that can run Genshin Impact at 120 FPS. So today we are going to test this out. If you haven't seen my test of the iPhone 13 Pro, I'll link it here. Go check it out. And that was a super interesting test. You shouldn't miss it. Okay, so just as usual, let's take a look at the graphics settings first. We tested the iPad Pro quite a long time ago, and we know that this device is not able to maintain 60 FPS at highest graphics settings. So it's not really meaningful to test 120 FPS at highest graphics settings. If you can't do 60, you can't do 120. So no point testing. So we'll actually just set everything to lowest and start from there. Okay, so now we've actually started the test, and I'm showing you the real-time FPS at the bottom of this video. And you can see that this is true 120 FPS in the game. It's nothing like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which you can only have 120 for like 10 seconds and then it drops back to 60. It's not like that, right? So I can definitely feel that the game is super smooth. It feels much better than 60, and the FPS is constantly maintained above 100, about 100 and 110. So this is some amazing performance right there. As for the cable, I've explained it many times. In order to record more than 60 FPS on iOS, you have to use a cable. You cannot use wireless testing. And there are still people who ask me, why are you charging the device while playing? Are you paid by Samsung or Xiaomi or Huawei to bash Apple? No, I'm not. Make that clear. So the performance has been very good for the first 7 or 8 minutes. Let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, so now we've played the game for about 7 to 8 minutes. As the device starts to heat up, we see some throttling and the performance drops a little bit. But the performance is still quite good, don't get me wrong, right? Currently we are getting something around 90 FPS maybe on average. You can feel a slight difference from before it has throttled, right? Because that's almost 120 and now it's around 90, but it's a very, very subtle difference. It's still super smooth. And I think 99% of the people won't actually notice this difference. But that comes to my next point. I think this 120Hz mode is not really meaningful at all, at least for this game. It makes your device heat up faster, it drains your battery faster, and it makes even the best gaming device like iPad Pro start to throttle after a few minutes. But it doesn't actually bring much benefit from the gaming experience point of view. So I still hold my speculation that this is some agenda pushed by Apple on MiHoYo, and it's not really a very, let's just say it's not a very well thought out decision to enable 120Hz on these devices. As for temperature, let's do a quick check. The highest temperature here seems to be somewhere around 41 to 42 degrees, and it's right at the Apple logo where you don't usually touch, so this is pretty okay. I know many of you are still curious and want to ask me, what if you just enable highest graphics? So I also did a very short testing here, and this is after the first test, so the device is still warm. But you can see that if I turn everything up to highest, it can only do 40 plus FPS, so there is really no point in testing 120. The one last thing is about the power, because just now in that test I was going for the FPS, so I had to connect a cable. Then if you have a cable connected, of course you cannot measure the power consumption from battery. But here I unplugged the cable, which means we won't be able to see the real FPS, but we are able to see the power consumption. And here we see that it's something from 11 watt to 16 watt, which is pretty high if you ask me. And this is exactly the reason why you can never have stable 120 FPS on your iPhone 13 Pro Max. Because for that device, Apple only gives you 4 watt of TDP. And 16 watt? No way. You may argue that the iPhone has a smaller display, a lower resolution, but if you ask me, I guess it takes about 8 to 10 watt power at least for the iPhone 13 Pro Max to actually run this game at 120 Hz. And that is not going to happen to your iPhone. Apple will not allow that. Alright guys, so that's all for today's test video. I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember to give me a like button and subscribe to my channel. Alright, I buy all these devices with my own money. It takes a lot of effort to make these videos, so please support me. Thank you and see you next time.